Hi, my name is Mary, and before we continue, please put on your headphones for a better experience. The sun was hot, and the sound of the waves was the only thing Arthur could hear. He stood on the yellow sand of a small, remote island. Behind him, the deep blue ocean looked beautiful, but it was a prison. Far away, on the horizon, he could see the ocean star, their research ship, disappearing. "They left us," a voice said. It was Sarah. She was the ship's navigator. Her face was dirty and her hands were shaking. "They took the ship and left us to die." Next to her was Leo, the youngest member of the crew. He was a brilliant engineer, but now he looked like a scared child. He was holding a small bag of medical supplies, the only thing they had. "Why?" Leo asked, his voice breaking. "We were a team. Why did the captain start a mutiny?" Arthur, the lead scientist, didn't answer. He looked at Sarah, then at Leo. He knew that one of them might be a liar. During the fight on the ship, someone had unlocked the weapons cabinet. Someone had helped the mutineers. But who? "We need to find water," Arthur said firmly. "The sun is going down. If we stay on the beach, we are easy targets for the sun and the wind. We must go into the jungle." The three of them walked into the green darkness of the forest. The trees were tall and very close together. It was difficult to breathe because the air was humid and heavy. Every time a dry leaf cracked under their boots, they jumped. They were not alone. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered. She stopped and pulled out a small knife. "It's just the wind, Sarah, relax," Leah said, but he moved closer to Arthur. Suddenly, a loud, terrifying growl came from the bushes. It wasn't the wind. Two yellow eyes appeared in the dark. It was a large wild cat, a predator they had never seen before. Its fur was black as night. "Don't move," Arthur commanded. The animal jumped. Sarah was fast. She pushed Leo to the ground and swung her knife. The cat missed, hitting a tree instead. It hissed and disappeared back into the shadows. "It will come back," Sarah said, breathing hard. "We need a fire, now." They found a small cave and spent the next hour gathering dry wood. As the fire started to burn, the orange light showed the fear on their faces. They sat in a circle, but they didn't look at each other. "Leo," Sarah said suddenly, "I saw you talking to the captain the night before the mutiny. What did he tell you?" Leo's eyes went wide. "Nothing. He asked about the engines, that's all." "You had the keys to the cabinet, didn't you?" Sarah continued, her voice getting louder. "You wanted the money they promised. You helped them." "That's not true," Leo shouted. "I saw Arthur in the communications room. He was the one sending a private message. He was the one who planned this." Arthur looked up. His face was cold. "I was trying to call for help because I suspected something was wrong. I didn't know the radio was already broken." The paranoia was like a second predator in the cave. It was more dangerous than the black cat outside. Trust was gone. Every look was a suspicion. Every word was a lie. The night was long. No one slept. They listened to the sounds of the jungle, the insects, the birds, and the heavy footsteps of the wild cats circling their cave. In the morning, they were exhausted. They had no food and very little water. They decided to walk to the other side of the island, hoping to find a higher place to make a signal fire. As they climbed a rocky hill, Leo slipped. His leg got caught between two heavy rocks. He cried out in pain. "Help me, please!" Leo screamed. Arthur and Sarah ran to him. They tried to move the rocks, but they were too heavy. Then they heard it again, the growl. The black cat was back, and this time it had friends. 3 predators were watching them from the trees, waiting. "We can't move the rocks in time," Sarah whispered. She looked at the animals, then at Leo, then at Arthur. Arthur looked at the medical bag Leo was holding. "If we stay here, the cats will kill all of us. Leo is trapped. "What are you saying?" Leo asked, his face pale. "Don't leave me!" Arthur looked at Sarah. He saw the same dark thought in her eyes. They needed to survive. If they stayed to help Leo, they would all die. If they ran now, the cats would focus on Leo, and the other two could reach the top of the hill. "I'm sorry, Leo," Arthur said. His voice was like ice. "Arthur! Sarah! No! Please!" Leo cried, tears running down his face. But they didn't stop. Arthur grabbed the medical bag from Leo's hand, and he and Sarah started running up the hill. They didn't look back. They heard the screams of the young engineer, and then the terrifying sounds of the hunt. When they reached the top of the hill, they were safe for a moment. They had the supplies. They had a chance.
"We had to do it," Sarah said, trying to convince herself. Her voice was trembling. "He was trapped. We couldn't save him." Arthur looked at the horizon. He saw a small smoke signal in the distance. Another ship? Or maybe the Ocean Star was coming back to check if they were dead. He looked at Sarah. She was looking at the knife in her hand. He realized then that the mutiny wasn't over. It had just changed locations. On this island, there were no friends, only people who hadn't betrayed you yet. "Yes," Arthur said, holding the medical bag tightly. "We had to survive." But as the sun began to set again, Arthur realized something terrible. The map inside the medical bag was gone. He looked at Sarah. She had a small piece of paper in her pocket. The paranoia returned, stronger than ever. The island was quiet now, but the silence was more frightening than the screams. They were survivors, but they had lost their humanity. Arthur sat far away from Sarah. He watched her, and she watched him. The fire between them was small and dying. In the darkness of the trees, more yellow eyes appeared. The predators were patient. They knew that on this island, the humans would eventually finish the job for them. The ship on the horizon was moving away. No one was coming to save them. They were alone with their secrets, their lies, and the shadows of the people they used to be.
That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments and let me know which country you are from. See you next time!